Alrighty, good morning, everybody. I would like to say I hope you're having a happy and amazing Tuesday. And hopefully you're not cussing no one out at the moment or about to cuss someone out or probably doing something with your cat, or you probably just called out of work because you wanted to hear the podcast in peace. So that being said, for those of you who are new to the podcast, I would like to say welcome to the Konnekt-000-7 podcast. And this is the place where human connection is everything. I am your host, Thaddeus Sims, and today we have an important, and this is going to be a very interesting speaker. But before we get into the episode, guys, I always have to share my fun fact, and I am skipping an announcement because this is going to be a very interesting episode. So we're going to skip an announcement, but we will share the fun fact because some of you have told me strongly that if I skip them, you will murder me. And I kind of like my life. So I'm going to do what I need to do to keep living. So the fun fact is the oldest your mom joke was discovered on a 3,500-year-old Babylonian tablet. It was discovered in Iraq in 1976. However, since then, the tablet has been lost, but the text remains preserved. Now, I was actually just going to leave it there, but I kind of know like the energy of you guys, and you're going to be like, okay, but what was it? And I'm just going to save you the time and save you the research because some of you are driving. And you're probably going to really be disappointed, but hey, I'm sorry. The mother joke, so looking it up, it basically says the mother joke is fragmentary and cryptic, so they wasn't lit like how we are today, but it says ... of your mother is by the one who has intercourse with her. Who is it? ? And that's it. So I know that was kind of like, that was anticlimactic, but I saved y'all time. So, you won't be disappointed later. You'll be disappointed now. But you'll be happy with this episode. So I want to just kind of say this before I introduce Cina into this is going to be a very interesting episode because this episode literally is going to show you guys how to have a convo with someone who may have different perspectives on things or different topics. And this is for you guys not to show you guys not to be offended, how to actually converse with someone, how to listen to someone, see where they're coming from, typical human communication 101 type of things, We weren't taught this. We were taught, they said something I don't like, so F them. I don't want to deal with them today. But no, we're gonna have a mature conversation. Me and her are both adults. We're over 18. So with that being said, I would like to introduce Cina to the episode. How is it going?
Hello. What's up?
What's up? So,
oh man,
for the listeners, who you be? Who is Cina? Who is her?
Well, a lot of you guys know me from Palm Beach. Went to school with Thad at Palm Beach Gardens. From there, went to college for psychology. Really got interested in human connections and just human ideas, and reading a lot of theories on humanistic ways of thinking, and really thought I should, hop on a podcast with you.
Awesome. And which is very funny. I got to tell them that, me and her, we went to school, but we have never ever hung out.
Never hung out, never talked, maybe glanced at each other.
Exactly. We were in the same space together at a mutual friend's party, but I think that was it. I didn't have classes with you. We never.
Nope. But you know what? We here now.
Exactly. We're here now.
That's what counts.
Exactly. And Facebook, actually, this is good. A lot of people hate Facebook. No, but Facebook has been bringing a lot of people who went to school together, they're talking now versus not.
For real.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome, though, because you never know who a person is in high school. Right. So the people that you spoke to in high school, they were cool then, but you're a different person. So you never know who you'll link with, later down the line. So
Exactly. And just to bring this guy up because I'm gonna talk about him. It's okay. He'll be fine. Probably not listening. But like Kelby, we talked about Kelby before. Like in school, I never talked to him at all. Like he is. I'm gonna say his name because he okay. He fine.
Kelby was in a few of my classes, and he was like class clown, and like I would just look at him and roll my eyes. That's pretty much the relationship. No, we had a few conversations in high school, but we weren't like conversing.
Exactly.
He's a cool dude, though.
Yeah, he's hilarious. Like I remember in high school, I seen him, but I was just like, yeah, nah, me and him would never be friends. I would never talk to this guy. But we conversed. We had one class, I think, and here we are because of Facebook. I'm talking to this guy on a regular, and when he's not on Facebook, it's like kind of cold. It's like
it's a void.
Right? Yeah,
it's like we're that annoying little person,
Yeah, where's that guy? Like, yeah, I know you're doing important things, but come back, like.
Exactly.
So that's Kelby. So he got a little recognition there. So I let him know by name. But so okay, let's dive into this. So I know that one thing, okay, is just to give people like more detail. So Cina is known for putting things like on Facebook, and everybody either trying to argue with her or she'll. But the questions that she put, let me say this: the question that she put is not like stupid questions. It's she'll put something up that's like, well, wait, okay, I never thought
about that.
Yeah, I didn't even know that. So for me, I can say that, and what I love about it is that what Cina does is Cina actually has me recognize my own ignorance of a lot of things. Like I know that there's a lot of things I'm ignorant of. So when she says something, most of the time, I can't even argue back with her. I'm just like, I didn't even know that. So I have no solid ground to even say things. But then I see some people who just want to argue with her just because they don't want to see that she's right.
Listen, Kelby is one of them. My boyfriend does it all the time. They think just because I have such a different perspective and it's not right or wrong, it's just another way of looking at it. They just want to argue with it because they're like, there's got to be something wrong with this argument. And I'm like, maybe, but I'm able to, carry myself well in an argument because I like to argue.
I see. So okay, so I can't think of nothing. So you're obviously the pro at this. So let's start a topic, I guess, that you mostly had, I guess, arguments on, like something.
Or randomly. I get into it a lot with people because I'm very passionate about a lot of different things. Yeah. I remember when I did City Year. Have you ever heard of City Year?
I have not.
It's basically a volunteer situation where you do a year of service in a Title IX school. I did it for 2 years, and we had a lot of social justice talks with people. And there was one time where there was someone speaking for an entire group of people, and I saw people like looking around like, what the fuck is she talking about? Can I curse on here?
Oh yeah, I curse on here.
Okay, good, because I just cursed. But
okay, there's
she. Okay, great, exactly. Okay, but yeah, she was talking and speaking for. She was I believe she was Mexican American. I don't remember, but if she's not, I apologize. But she was Mexican American, and she was speaking for the entire Hispanic culture.
Oh.
And Black women, and I'm a Black woman. And when I was looking around at other women of Hispanic ethnicities, they were looking like, no, ma'am. And so I said, hey, like maybe you shouldn't. And I'll be honest, maybe my approach wasn't as friendly, because I'm very straight to the point. And I'm very straightforward, I'm very direct. So it's like, if I tell you something, it's because that's how I feel. It's not that I have anything against you. It's just like, hey, correct yourself. She ended up crying, went to the boss, said all this stuff, was like, yeah, she's basically being an angry Black girl. And I got confronted by the boss, and I was like, nope, I was telling her she was being very offensive, and that's it. And guess who still had to apologize?
You did.
I did, but I wanted to apologize because I don't want people to think that I won't apologize if I hurt your feelings. Whether I'm right or wrong, if I hurt your feelings, if you tell me that I did something that hurt your feelings, I will apologize.
Yeah.
Like that's how I've grown.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. That's really good to hear.
Yeah,
That's
because
really good to hear.
normally back in the day, high school days, you wasn't getting no goddamn apology. I mean, fuck up.
Right? Like, nah, bro. Apology. I feel you. I was the same way, to be honest with you. Like, apology. So, like, but I will say, yeah, she kind of run it on herself because I would say in this day and age, and I think throughout all time, you really can't speak for an entire group of people. Like,
you really can't, because everyone's experience is very different.
Exactly. And being on, not on her end, but being on the other end with everybody looking like, nah, bro, like, no. Because some people would say certain things about, oh, well, Black people are this. And I'm just like, wait, bro, no,
ma'am.
Sorry, I'm not, I don't agree. I have not had those experiences. I know. So you cannot speak for us. So, so I'm with you on that one. But let's talk about that. Like you growing. So, because I feel like with the, like on the podcast, it's always about like growth, connection, things like that. So what led to the change from you saying, nah, F that, get your feelings to now? What led you to change to apologize and care for a person?
Well, I mean, I can give you an exact moment. It would be the change from being a regular core member at City Year. City Year had a lot to do with my growth, and I will not deny them that. I got a lot of fucked up shit to say about City Year, so I will not deny them that they did give me an opportunity for growth, and I really do appreciate that, because between the time of my core year to when I became a team leader, I really honed in on like being more empathetic, because that was one of the main criticisms I had when I was moving from core member to team leader. Like, hey, you got to be able to understand where people are coming from, put yourself in their shoes. And I used to be like, for what? Like, why? So yeah, that's pretty much the main thing. Just working on being more empathetic and trying to be a better person, you know?
Understood. So how would you say what have you understood so far now that you worked and became more empathetic? What have you learned about yourself?
Everyone has their own perspective. Everyone has their own experience. You can't count someone's experience out just because their thoughts and their opinions don't coincide with your own. So just because I grew up a Black chick in America, Riviera Beach, Palm Beach, doing my thug fizzle, doesn't mean Sally Mae around the way didn't have it tough too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So just trying to understand that, yeah, you may have had it rough, but other people have had it rough too. It might not be the same kind of rough, but everybody's crisis or everybody's struggle is a crisis or a struggle.
Yes, exactly.
Type of thing.
Okay, so see, that's right. That enough right there. That's huge, because I feel as though a lot of people are working on that empathy, because
I'm still working.
But see, you were open, and you're actually doing the work for it. Some people don't. They don't have empathy, and some people, because of that, it blocks them, and they are not able to kind of just see certain things that if they were to, it kind of would make a big difference. But I remember having a talk with someone saying that people do need more empathy, because it's just like, if you're going to be doing anything with people, regardless of what it is, because people are here, it's like you're going to need that type of empathy factor. Some cases you may not, but some cases, continue.
That was my main question for you, because I feel like you're super empathetic. Like, look at your podcast, Human Connections, connecting people, and I'm like one of the people who like, I don't really give a fuck if I'm connected to anybody. So, but like, besides my babe, my mom, my people, but I literally wanted to know, like, is empathy absolutely necessary? Because from my end, yes, I completely understand where you're coming from. Yeah. But homegirl, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, I don't,
Yeah, I feel you. So I can answer that. I can answer that in many different ways. So I would say, from someone who, like, before the podcast, I mentioned this on my podcast before, so they know this about me. But before years ago, I was not an empathetic person. Like my nickname back then was the heartless one, the hope destroyer, dream destroyer. I hated people. Like if I didn't like you, oh, you knew. Like, and I
See,
wasn't.
that's why we never talked.
See,
we were both the same way. We never talked.
That's probably why then, because I was bad. Like I didn't fight people. My goal was if you did something that messed me up, okay, I'm not with the fighting. So I know exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna say some stuff because I can read you. I'm gonna have you. My goal is to have you damn near kill yourself. That's what I'm. That's what I. Oh yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah, I was that guy. But see, if you were cool, we were. You didn't see that side. But if you got me there, which was rare, you're gonna know. So going into transitioning to where I had to learn with like business and working with people, it was kind of like people, those things. I don't really like them like that. And I had to be in a position where I had to kind of work with them and eventually lead some people. And I was like, oh, they got feelings. Okay, I am going to have a hard time with this because I don't give a damn about their feelings.
Hello.
And I'm not an emotional person like that. And at the time, there was a lot of healing that I had to go through with all of that, the emotion stuff. Had to understand I was hurt. So hurt people, blah, blah, blah.
Yes,
I had to, heal all of that. Self-discovery, blah, blah, blah. And then, got through that. And one of the biggest things I would say that really kind of changed it was when my mentor at the time, I told him, I had to like be upfront and just like, hey, dude, I hate people. I don't really like people like that. And his words changed my life because he was like, oh my gosh. He was like, he was like, you're going to be amazing with people because that's your biggest like weakness right now. You didn't hear what I said. I hate people.
Obviously.
What do you mean? Right? But when, later on, I discovered what he was saying. I was like, oh my gosh, yes. Like I realized I did have this passion. So to answer the question, like going into working with people now and the human connection, yes, it is. I know. It is very important because you will get much further and you'll be able to see things from a completely different perspective. Like, for example, it never fails. Every place that I've worked, there is always a group of people that everybody hated. They did not like them. As soon as they walked into the building, they had that stained face like, I don't even like this, or, what you call it coming in. So, we feel like not get tips or whatever. So I was just like, interesting. I always got along with those people. So instead of going off what people were telling me, I had to, okay, let me
formulate your own opinion.
Right. And seek understanding. That's my main thing is seek understanding. So when people would say, like, for example, there would be a group of people that's like, oh, they so stuck up, they so high maintenance, they blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, okay, when I got to know them, you can look at it as their high maintenance, but they're like, no, I know what I want. And I'm just trying to save you time, and I get that they were, they had certain, I can understand when I got to know them more what they do for a living. And because of what they do, they're in leadership roles, so they have to be precise. And I was like, I get it. So what y'all were saying, it's not like that. They're telling you, like, this is what I like. This is how I do it. If you do it this way, we had no issues. I communicated as clear as I could, so I always got along. But now, with the empathy role came in is that I had to be empathetic of people who I personally may have not liked off the bat. And I was just like, yeah, nah, if I don't like you, I'm done. But I had to work with people. One of those people I had to work with that were my biggest teachers because I didn't like them. I had to actually use empathy because the things that they did that pissed me off, the empathy led me to seek, it was like the door.
You have to use empathy in order to find a way through because you can't cuss everybody out.
Exactly.
You can't. You just can't. And it sucks. But empathy, sometimes that jumps to the forefront and it's like, why are they doing this?
Exactly.
I have the same situation where I have someone that I work with that I'm not too keen with, but I mean, hey, I found a way.
Exactly. And it'll help you. You'll understand, okay, this is why they are the way they are. So now that I know that, I don't need to try to change them. I get it. That's just who you are. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's just how it is. Some people, now I will say this though, there are times, I'm saying it here, guys, there are times where the empathy, you might have to turn it off for a little bit,
A little bit, for
because
real.
some people, they just, for lack of better words, fuck it, they're a lost cause sometimes.
Oh, let me give you an example of a lost cause. Now, I have this rule where if I'm getting into an argument with a Facebook friend, I don't delete you. I don't block you just because we're differing in opinions. It took me 4 arguments with one person to realize, oh shit, you actually kind of cool. So I don't want to miss out on a good friendship or a good conversing buddy just because we disagree on a few topics. Like, I like the heart pumping that gets in my chest when I'm arguing with someone. I like that racing heartbeat. Like, it thrills me. It's something. So I'm just like, let me find as many different people as I can that I can talk to and get these differing opinions on, so we can just like share ideas. Yeah. I had one individual who, you remember when Aisha Curry went on the Red Table Talk and she was talking to Jada about Steph? Yeah. That's a different discussion for a different time. But this guy was just adamant. And so I was just trying to explain to him my side, and, I understood where he was coming from, but I don't think he ever understood where I was coming from. So I was like, okay, conversation's over. Stop messaging him, right? That was it. Not messaging, but it was on the thread that I had. Yeah. And my friend Khadijah came on and started and just re-agitated him, I guess. So the next thing I knew, he started calling her a hoe. We all types of bitches, all types. Mind you, if I were to go to Walmart and see this dude restocking shelves, I wouldn't know him from a can of paint. Damn. So it's just like, why are you doing all of that? And we're just talking. Yeah. And so I'm like, yo, like, don't come on my page disrespecting anyone. Like, that's childish. Do better. And so he's like, you can't tell me what to do. Good at this, good at that. And I'm like, okay, I guess this is the first person I'm gonna have to block in like 3 years. Like, I'm trying to understand where you're coming from, but it's like, it's hard to be empathetic to someone who's just they're not getting it,
Yeah. And that's a perfect example. Like, they hit the nail on the head. Some people who are like that, it's just like, okay, it's not worth energy, you being childish. Like, you were good in the beginning, but now that you have to go to that
extreme, like,
exactly, it's not worth it. So that's where no empathy is needed. You just that's where your energy
doing too much.
Yeah, and that is crazy. And actually, I know you said like another comment point the other day, but let's talk about that with Aisha Curry, because there are so many like
different ideas and different theories, and
and
I
I
understand where she's coming from.
Where was you? Okay, so you say you understand.
I understand. Okay, so me and my boyfriend, we talk about stuff like this all the time, and like we get hot-headed sometimes and we have to take a break, but we come back. But I feel as though I understand the male's perspective, and I also understand the female perspective because I am a female. So Aisha, to me, she was just saying sometimes, like, you have your husband who's in the spotlight. Yeah. He gets all this attention, and it's like, okay, well, that's cool. Your husband loves you. He's not doing any dirt. That's fine. Yeah. You've been with the same individual for years. When they get married, out of high school, college?
Something like that.
Years they've been together. Yeah, we know you think I'm attractive. I get it. But hearing that from another guy on the side, like, it's a nice confidence boost. It's like, okay, he's not just telling me, Steph isn't just telling me I'm beautiful because I'm the mother of his children. Yeah. I actually am beautiful. Like, and that's something that happens over time. You get comfortable. You're not as into the way you look as, and sometimes you just need that little reminder. It doesn't mean she's trying to cheat. Doesn't mean anything like that. Because anytime a man gets hollered at, it's a ego boost. So why was it such a big deal for her to say that? She was speaking like to friends.
Yeah.
So,
and to be
that's
honest,
where I saw it from.
I agree. Like, as a male, like, I get it. Well, I guess I'm a different one because apparently out of all the other ones around here.
Yeah.
But for me, I was telling them, I'm like, guys, like, this is for me. I like to look at a bit of everything before I kind of get my opinion. But I was like, guys, you guys got to understand, like what you just said, this like from a male, so I guess hearing it from a male perspective, this guy, Steph Curry, everybody knows him. Everybody in their mama know him. I don't know her name. You know what I mean? I just knew her name. Like when I was like, oh, okay, right. So
Okay, well.
that's why I'm like, and I should say too, I don't pay attention to sports or people.
That's all right. I don't either.
So when she was saying like, what she said, I didn't even see the video, but what I got the same message what they were saying, and I eventually seen it. And I was like, guys, I'm like, she's not trying to cheat. She's just trying to say like, I'm like, put yourself in her shoes. Like, okay, your significant other is always getting attention. So it makes you kind of wonder, am I at least good looking? So they hear it.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I get it. And they was like, no, bro, this man, they were talking about, no, bro, this man he is out here. He is playing the game, and he's making money, bringing all this in, and he got a business. And for her to say that she's affecting his business, I'm like, no, you're going there too far. I'm like, no, if that's his wife, I'm sure they've had talks about this. Like, but then at the same time, I'm like, I'm gonna just say it because I don't like the whole shit in either. I'm like, at the same time, none of y'all lasses are famous, so. Yo,
say it again.
Like,
put a nigga in the back.
Exactly. Like none of y'all are famous, so y'all can't even begin to understand that pressure. Like
exactly.
So
there are probably thousands of women in Steph Curry's DM by the end of the week.
Exactly.
Like a new bitch at the end of the week. Like, come on, like, and she probably sees it. Yeah. I feel like they have a super open relationship. She probably sees that shit and she's like, damn. I'm over here dry as fuck. Am I not cute? What the fuck?
Exactly.
That's over here.
Right? It makes you think like, okay, like, at the end of the day, it's just like you have, like, I always try to say, okay, they're famous, but break it down to like your reality because you ain't famous. So like, okay, if you take your girl out and your girl is always getting attention, you see she getting messages, you're going to eventually think, well, dang, am I at least somewhat attractive? Do I still, or for a male, do I still got it? You know what I mean? But they don't.
But you know what? I think we can go into a different topic with that too, because men, I hate to say this, but I feel like you guys are a little more insecure because women don't approach. Like that's not a female, like women aren't taught to approach men if they're attracted to them. I know there are some women who do. I mean, I tell my dude to sign all the time because he signs stuff. But like a lot of men don't get that. So when they're in a relationship with a woman and she might be doing what she needs to, but when he goes out, he's not being approached. When someone does approach him, that's like it's a huge ego boost. So it's like they're more likely to cheat with that person because of that ego boost.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
I do.
Give me your thoughts.
So I'm gonna say this. Because apparently I'm not the average guy, I've been told by all of my friends. So I would say for the typical guy who don't know themselves maybe and don't know what they have, then yeah, that they would do that. But for me,
right,
I'm the type.
Same goes for women. Goes for women. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, like I'm the type. Like I look for more like than just a face and a hey. Like if you approach me, it's like, oh, I'm thankful that you thought I was, so thank you. I know that took a lot, but if there's someone I'm with, I don't see no one else like that no more. Like it's a complete like. Oh yeah, she was pretty and all of that, and I can tell. I'm with her. You know what I mean? I'll say, oh well, my girlfriend. I make sure it's communicated, so there's no, But I will admit, it's nice for that, but for me, if I'm with my girl, and I'm gonna tell her like it is. If I go out somewhere and a lot of people looking at my girl, I'm like, hey. I must be doing good because
exactly.
So I'm like, all right, man. I was like, walk in front of me. I just want to see something. I just want to see what like that's what I'm gonna be thankful for what I got. She might be like, no, I'm with you. I don't need to do that. I'm just saying, you looking good. So obviously I feel like I made the right choice, but that's me though. and a lot of guys are insecure, but I'm very secure in who I am and who I'm with. So
let me apologize for saying just men, because there are insecure women who do the same shit. So let me scratch that part out. We'll scratch that out. But yeah, no, just people who are insecure in general, like not secure within yourself. Yeah, you can feel like a little frumpy sometimes and want a compliment, but like I'm not the type to go out and look for a compliment.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I can go in the mirror and be like, "Bitch, you fine as fuck."
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
So it's whatever. Yeah. So yeah.
I'm like, okay, yeah. So I would say I feel like a lot of the arguments and a lot of things that happen is because a lot of people are insecure, like with some things in themselves, and it's just like, okay, you didn't work that out, so you might. Okay, I see where this is coming from. Like your insecurity is showing. You know what I mean? Like
that's empathy. That's you trying to understand where they're coming from. Do you see
that? Sometimes I'm like, and then other times I honestly though, Cina, to be honest with you, sometimes I'm just like, okay, I don't got the time for this, and I keep it moving. Like I keep it moving. Some people, I'm like, I don't.
Sometimes you have to.
Yeah, because it'll be screaming like someone will do something, and like when people are reactive, some people will get very reactive, and I'm just like, nope, don't got the time for it. Don't have the time for it. But yeah, I'm trying to think of it. Okay, so another like perspective. So okay, what is the perspective that you have on something that majority of the people have a different perspective
on? Equality for all, which is crazy because
let's talk about that.
It's literally the simplest thing. Just treat everybody the same. But some people have a theory that you shouldn't be treated the same if you look different from the norm, which what the fuck is the norm?
Yeah.
Like is it white Anglo-Saxon, like the WASP shit we learned in like 3rd grade? Is that the norm? Because
I feel like the norm is
straight.
Yeah. I
like there's so many different types of people out here, and your life would be so much like you live less, you'd have so much less stress. Yeah. If you just manage your own fucking business.
Yeah.
Just let people live their lives. Okay, it has nothing to do with you. That man fucking that other man has nothing to do with you fucking your wife. So why are you concerned?
Yeah.
Are you gay?
Yeah. It's like, and
I don't understand.
I'm literally so glad you said like all of that, because I literally will be sitting there thinking like, why is it that this person you don't even know has your blood pressure high? Like
exactly. That's where I'm coming from. Like, why are you so pressed?
Yeah.
what did they do? Like what happened? Did they come and fuck on your couch? Like what happened?
Yeah, like I never understand that, and like how people immediately, what I've noticed though, and let me know if you've encountered this. When I do bring up like that approach of like, man, we're all the same. Nah, they immediately attack you with their, I would say, insecurities and experiences.
I wouldn't say we're all the same.
Yeah. Not that we're all the same, but it's like, for example, I may say, okay, hey, like we're all human beings. Like I'll keep it like something like a basic, because all of us are different. We're all unique, but the one quality that we do share, we're human beings. We got the same intestines, hearts, things like that. So I always look at it from that perspective. Yes, we have different cultures. We have different upbringings. All that. That's what makes us different. So I always tell people, I'm like, okay, yeah, we're all human beings. And then they're like, nah, man, I ain't trying to hear that. Hey, that's not like the world these days. People over here killing people. They're doing this, they're doing that. I'm just like, you just threw everything I just said out the window. So have you ever experienced that when you try to share that with people? Like,
I don't get the question. Sorry.
Okay. So when I try to explain to people we're all human beings, and just to see that this person is just like you, they have emotions, they have stress, they have whatever problems, those are some of the things that make us relate. So when I try to mention to other people, for example, they may be like, oh, I can't stand this ethnicity of people because they always have this, that, and the other. And have you ever experienced where you've tried to explain to people like, hey, we all relate, but they not attack you, but they always come out or respond with the problems and insecurities and experiences that they have had that they would say that does not make sense or that's out the window?
Oh yeah, absolutely. When you watch the videos of like cop shootings or cop killings or any like funny video that talks about race or anything like that, there's always people in the comments that are like, talking their shit. And you respond and you say, hey, like, that's not true. Like, you can't generalize an entire people. Like, I mean, I know a few white dudes that's out here robbing cars every night. Like, what about them? They don't see that. I mean, a lot of that has to do with what they see, like you said, their experiences, and perspective is reality. So if all they see on the media and in the news is Black people shooting people and robbing people, and then they look outside and they see homeless men and they're Black, quote unquote, and they're doing whatever the fuck they think homeless people do, because honestly, homeless people be chilling.
Yeah.
But like whatever experiences they have, that's what shapes their reality. So I can't really argue with someone's experiences, but I can tell them that generalizing will get you fucked up.
Yeah.
Like, you will fuck around and get called a racist real quick if you start generalizing an entire race by the actions of some. So, I mean, yeah, I've been in those situations. Do I ever try to like explain it? Only a little bit, because I'm not here to teach you. Not at all. Like, if Sandra and Cassandra want to go ahead and be racist, let them be racist in their corner. That's them.
Yeah. I feel you on that one. I feel you.
How do you feel about that? Do you think it's a Black person's job to pretty much educate someone who has racist ideologies or can be racist or is racist?
I wouldn't say it's their job. I feel like it takes both parties to be open to being educated and educating, and it's like a combination. So, like, for example, I'll know someone. Let's just say there's a white friend of mine, and or a white person, and they were racist, and I knew that it is not my job. I am not going to waste my time. You had your experience. That's how you feel. That's how you feel. Now, if they were to come up to me and pull me to the side and say, okay, and they, let's just say they knew of me and they knew what I do, and they say, hey, I have this issue with, racism, whatnot, with, people of your skin color. And they were to say, I'm trying to fix that. Could you help me? Then yes, then I will do my absolute best to do that because you came up to me and I'll do that. But in this time and age, and that's why I love the Red Table Talk, how you did it, is it requires a lot for both parties to really stay focused on that openness and education, because it's like there's a lot of like, I can say this because I'm Black, but there's some Black people where they're like, nah, I ain't trying to hear that, man. Nah, they'll snap the minute someone says something. It's like, okay, bro, if someone is coming to you with an issue that they have and you attack them, it's kind of like you just amped up the cycle for even more of what they're saying. So,
oh yeah, for sure.
Now, if they ask me, hey, and I can actually give an example of this. This person wasn't racist, so to speak, but he introduced, and I talked about this, I think, in a few podcasts ago, he introduced a very interesting perspective to me. He was saying, like, because he's a Caucasian, he's like, dude, he was able to tell me, he's like, dude, he was like, I work with a lot of African Americans and things like that. He was saying, I would love to interact and get to know them more, but the way things are, I always feel like I'm walking on eggshells because I don't want to say something that may come off as I'm this or I'm that, or I may ask a question and I may come off as he's being racist or this, or you know, he was saying I hear a lot of what's the word? Privilege. He was like, a lot of people say white privilege. He's like, to me, honestly, and he was open. He was like, I don't understand when I'm using the privilege. Like, he's like, I don't get it. He's like, I hear that, I'm attacked with that. I would like to talk about that, but he doesn't even feel safe to, you know what I mean, to even go there.
Yeah.
He's someone who's willing to do it, but he feels like he's
a lot of the time. Yeah, I mean, you just gotta catch the right one sometimes, and you have to be in a space because you run up on the wrong white black person asking them, like, you know, a silly question something that they think is silly, they're gonna attack you for it, and you might have had all the best intentions in the world, but they still came at your neck, and it's just like, I will never ask another black person that again. Exactly. I'm probably never going to talk to black people again. Exactly. I apologize. You know, like, they'll probably sit on the fence next time there's a rally or something. Like, you don't want to do that to everyone. That's why I try to be as understanding as I can when talking to like different types of people. Yeah. Because you never know where they are in their ideology. Some people are, you know, they're on the fence. Yeah. They don't know. They're like, you've heard a lot of things, you know, from your parents about black people or gay people or another ethnicity or another minority. And you hear so many things about the other side. And it's like, I need my own opinion, but I'm afraid to ask because of the situation, because of how touchy everything is. Yeah. And I would say this too. So how do you feel? I'm going to ask you this question. How do you feel about in America, racism being taught, even with us, racism in some way being taught, like, to us as kids? How do you feel about that in America? I don't know if I can say if it's being taught or if people are just passing down, you know, traditions. Okay. Like, can we say it's taught if it's a tradition? Not saying all traditions are right. Yeah. Traditions can change, but if you see that as part of your culture, if you see that as part of who you are you really teaching it? Or are you making sure the legacy survives? Okay. So let me give you an example. I don't know if you've experienced this, but in a black household, I have always heard, you know, them white people, they doing this again. White people always got this. Like, it's always white people this, white people got this. And it's just like that programming that you constantly hear, like, and then even hearing that in like the community, like in school, like, oh, they just doing that, you know, they got away with that because they white. That's just what that is. Or they go like this. They can't see it, but they'll do the, you know, they this, you know, they'll point at the other side of their hand. And it's just like, would you say that's a form of teaching or passing down? What are your thoughts on that? I would say, I don't know if I can call that racism because no one is being hurt by that. Is anyone being hurt by that? By me pointing at the palm of my hand to signify that's for white people and on the other side to signify that's for black people? Is that hurting anyone? And let me ask you this, because I have a counter question. Because I asked my boss this the other day. Why is it that whenever we say black people or white people, if you're a black person saying black people, you say it loud. If you're a white person saying white people, you say it loud. But if you're a black person saying white people, or if you're a white person saying black people, you whisper. You could be saying the most like mundane thing, like, oh yeah, over there, it's a person over there. Who's the person over there? It's a black person. Why the fuck are you whispering? It's a black person. Like, I don't get that. Like, why is it such a touchy and sensitive? Like, some of the things, like just touching your palm to signify someone's white, like, I don't think that's a big deal. Now, if I say all white people smell like dog, that's pretty fucked up, and that's a generalization, and that's racist. Yeah. But if I say all the white people I know can't cook, that's an observation. Like, I don't know if I can say, that's a tough question for me. Okay. But I just want your thought on that. Like, why do people whisper? What's the point in that? I think like it kind of goes with like the emphasis
on how can I put it? It gives like the emphasis on the conversation, like in the sense of going with the tone. Like if I was to say, well, and showing like emotion, I would say kind of, okay, an example, best what example. Like if I was to say, okay, so Francina, like now she got me mad. I mean, she got me pissed the fuck off. But when she wants something, oh, how you doing? How you been? You know, so it's kind of like you. I think the tones kind of emphasize like on the word, like okay, they're black. But when it's something that okay, you kind of go down, it's kind of like maybe they don't want to deal with the emotional stuff that may come or the emotional reactions around them. I'm not sure, but that's the best way I could go with is like the emphasis on the tones on something. That's the best thing I could think of.
That's the best thing you got. I just don't understand. Like, why is it such a difficult topic? And maybe your viewers and your listeners can like talk on this point, but like, why is it such a big deal to say white people or black people when you think there's white people around you or black people around you?
I guess because I think it's
have you done that, Thad?
What? Say black people?
Say white people. You don't. You like around? It's like it's a slur. It's like it's
around them? Like around, like in general?
Yeah. Like say you're one of 5 black people in a sea of white. Okay. And you want to talk, you're saying, hell, there's a lot of white people here. Why are you whispering? There are.
Okay. I'm trying to actually put myself in that situation. Okay. So for me, I'm very aware of what comes out my mouth. So I will not lie. And I actually did a topic. It's funny. You're bringing a bunch of stuff that I talked on. I did a topic on, or a point in an episode where I would be in a place that's predominantly Caucasian. Of course, the first thought is that, oh, wow, I'm like really the only, colored person. But that's because my upbringing, I'm used to diversity. So, of course, that's the first thought. But immediately, once I had the thought, the immediate next thing that automatic for me is I'm going to find something that we all relate on. You know what I mean? Like, okay, this person, it may be that, but hell, this person's funny as hell. This person dresses, okay, blah, 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 and I'm good after that. You know what I mean? But now being in a situation, I think I'm pretty even with it because I have been in situations where I have been around black people and white people and stuff like that, and I just kind of say it as it is because I'm like, if I gotta whisper, then that kind of means I might be afraid, but I'm not. So
that's what I'm saying. That's what I think it is. People are afraid.
Yeah, so it could be the fear. If I'm gonna say it, I'm gonna say it like it is and not be afraid about it. So
that's how I feel.
I mean, and if I'm afraid about it, then I may not want to bring it up if I fear the consequences. So if I'm around some friends, I'm like, oh, okay, well, wow, there's a lot of different people here. You know what I mean? Well, different I see, but and I'm gonna just keep it as it is. But I feel like, oh wow, they're gonna attack me. There's a lot of white people here. Like, no, that's just me. I'm just gonna say it like it is.
I feel you. I feel you.
Yeah, I like that. I like this. So I want to bring. Okay, you talked about. Now I'm gonna tell my ignorance here. You brought up a point. We talked about it on Facebook about the England Americans. What was it? British Americans.
Oh, British Americans. Black British Americans or Black Britons.
Okay, right? Something like that. Yeah. Yep. Something like that. So where did that?
So Ava, I believe it was Ava, the same woman who did When They See Us.
Okay, I didn't see that. She
also
a lot of stuff about it.
Oh my God, I haven't been able to watch the entire thing yet. I'm like going very slowly about it. It's heart-wrenching what they did to those kids. But yeah, she did one of her first films was Selma.
Okay.
And I was super excited about it. I'm all about it. I was like, yeah, Black Power, woo woo, in the movie, woo woo. And so saw that, and I was like, okay, cool, who's acting in it? And I saw that the main characters, like, basically the ones that I was really looking forward to was Martin Luther King and Coretta Scott King. And they were being, I was under the impression that we would have Black American actors doing these roles because it's a Black American experience. Mm-hmm. It's historical. It's something that like we should have our hands on. And when I found out it was like Britain Americans, I didn't even go see the movie. And when I tell you I was super excited about it, but I just felt like yeah, you can have some of the roles, but like the lead roles or something that major, like I don't know. I didn't know how to feel about that, and I didn't think it was right. And I just didn't think it was right.
Interesting. Okay, because like when you asked me about that, I was sitting here like I never thought like certain things I never think of unless it's to the degree of if they're if it's Native Americans. Like I'm just thinking like something. Oh, this is a Native American role. We have Caucasian, and it's just like
blatant.
And just to let me get off Caucasian. Let's branch this out because I want people to think, oh, Black, white. If this is a Native American role, and I'm seeing someone who is clearly not Native American, so someone who may be, goddamn it, South African, goddamn, or whatever, kind of like, okay, why? So when you said African American,
it's pretty much, I'm sorry, I'm just gonna add on to my point. It's pretty much just like having a straight actor play a gay role, or having a able-bodied person play a disabled-bodied person role. And it's just like there are people who exist, like who have lived these experiences or could better connect to these experiences. Why not use them?
Interesting. And that's when you were saying that, it was making me think. I was like, because I wasn't in the process of them hiring, so I was like, I don't know. And that the only thing I think I said to you, I was like, I think it would have been like, I guess this is me being positive. I was like, well, maybe it gives the Black.
Oh, that was you being ignorant. Go ahead, though.
hey, ignorant and positive. I was like, could have gave them an opportunity to experience what African Americans go through. You're like, no.
Nah, bro, that's not it.
I was like, but I did not think about it. I was like, I don't know. So I'm ignorant on that.
Do you watch She's Gotta Have It?
No, I never even heard of it.
Are you fucking kidding? Okay, well, anyway, they brought it up. I'm pretty sure some of your viewers listen to it because they have good taste. But one of the scenes, she's like in a type of relationship with a British American man, and they bring up the topic, and that's what made me rethink of how I felt about Selma. And asked you when you asked me, bring up the topic. Yeah. But they talked about it, and he was just like, yeah, no, I feel like his reasoning was that they feel as though Black people from America would get a role like that and would have too much trauma to actually do the role justice. That's how he explained it. And I thought that was it. You're looking at me like that makes sense, but it doesn't.
No, it's just more like a interesting, like I would have never fathomed that. So I'm that's like,
right.
So
it's hella disrespectful and hella ignorant to say your trauma is what would stop you from acting like you, basically. I just didn't ride with it. I didn't rock with it. I don't like it. But I mean, people are gonna act. And the guy from Get Out, what's his name? Do you know? He's great. But he's British as fuck though. Okay. But I love him. Yeah, but I love him. But it's like he's not playing a historical role, So that's cool with me, fine. But I just not with it.
Well, to add on though, like let's just say what the guy said with the trauma, I would think it would do the opposite. Like I would think they would be able to bring it home more because they
exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so that's why when you said that, I was like,
that's what the guy on the show said.
Yeah. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, okay, I know a topic. You said earlier, and this is funny. Let's talk. Mm-hmm. And I know everybody's like experiences zodiac signs. Yes.
Oh God.
Like, I was okay, so
Fake as fuck.
yeah, like I love it because it just works out. But I know I was when you were saying something I'm like, aren't you a Pisces? And she was like, I don't even pay attention to that. Like they say I'm this, and she's like, I don't even believe it. I was like,
I'm not. Listen, I'm not your. First of all, I'm not your typical Pisces.
yeah,
I'm not your typical Aquarius. Like I'm. Hell, I read Capricorn a couple times. I may be a Capricorn. I was born February 21st. I don't believe in it. When I was reading into like different what is it called? Astrology? What is it called?
Astrology.
The signs and the zodiac signs. When I was reading into the different zodiac signs and stuff like that, you could literally pick qualities of yourself in each one. And it's like, why would you even want to be boxed in like that? And I hate the Facebook statuses where people who are angry at someone of a specific zodiac sign are like, if you're a Capricorn, you eat doo-doo. If you like, it's stupid shit. I'm just like, why are y'all doing this?
It's because there are like patterns like with it. And I will say too, even like someone could be quote unquote, like for you could be a Pisces and had that effect of that Aquarius, but your moon sign could literally be something completely different. And it's just like, okay, this makes perfect sense. So have you heard of the moon sign? No?
No, but I heard a theory behind the moon. You know how we're made up of like 80% water or some shit like that?
Yeah, definitely.
And the moon controls water.
Okay, that's interesting.
The moon controls you. I've heard that theory. I think that's shit too. But go ahead.
That's interesting. I haven't heard that one, but that's interesting. But yeah, it's just like I'll see someone and like, okay, so let me say this. For me, I'm not the type to, and I think a couple of my friends, they're like, I'm not with the signs. It's like I feel like people box it in. I was like, I get it. There are some people who are like, this is what you is. This is all I'm gonna see you as. But for me, I look at it as kind of like
a guide.
I wouldn't say a little bit, but it's more like a tool that I use to kind of get to like a grasp of that person a little bit. So, for example, if I know someone, let's just say is I'm gonna use a Scorpio. You know, right? If I know someone's a Scorpio, based off my experience, I kind of have a little gist of, you know, kind of how to talk with them a little bit. So, for example, Scorpios, you picking up on shit immediately, right? And that's just my experience. It's my experience. I'm like, okay, I immediately can pick up. Y'all be picking up on some bullshit. Y'all, you know, and I would ask them, like, okay, you're a Scorpion. They're telling me like, oh yeah, you know, I don't pay attention to signs. I'm like, I know. I was like, I get it. I'm like, but one thing, and I'll tell them like, you know, but let me ask you, like, I'm like, you're not trusting like that? It's like, nah. It's some ways, and you know, they'll tell me certain things, and it's just, and I know that a lot of people can be that, yes, but with them, it's just like, okay, it kind of gives me like a field of understanding, like, okay, I kind of can see how to come at you a little bit, obviously, but obviously I'm going to get to know you besides that, because I don't really pay attention to it all the time. But it's like, this person may say, oh, my birthday is May 1st. I'm like, oh, you a Taurus. I like you guys. Like, you guys are hilarious. And it's like, I'll kind of get, there's patterns where they like stability in certain things. And I'm just like, okay, I get, if I plan.
So,
continue. Go.
I see zodiac signs as a great icebreaker. Sure, slide in the DM, slide up at the bar. It was your sign, you know, cool, cute, whatever. But I just don't like and this is me. Yeah. I don't like the idea of someone being able to say, oh, you're like that because of this. Not because of like who I am, but because of some preset ideas or characteristics of my character when you don't know me. Exactly. You know? And so it's hard for me to I consider myself as a different thinker, different believer. Like I try not to be like everyone else.
Right.
So, and I don't want anyone else to be like anyone else.
Exactly.
So when I read zodiac signs, I'm like, I hope this is not all someone thinks they are, because this is terrible.
No.
Like, and it tells you like who you should be with, who should be your best friend, who your enemy is. It's like, why are you dictating lives? Let people figure that shit out themselves. Like, okay, yes, I understand you use it as a tool, and I think that's really cool to be able to take in all that information and point it out in different people. But I'm like you said, you can do that for anything. That's how most of these quote unquote psychics do their psychic abilities. They walk up on you, notice little things, and are just like, oh, are you going through a breakup? See that your eyes are kind of red. Are you doing this and that and the third? Like, it's like, just stop.
See, now you're generalizing there.
Am I?
Yep. You're generalizing.
Okay. Hey, I'm human.
It's okay. Like I said, we're human, and that's what makes it fun. Like, hey, we're human. But now it's just like, like with the whole psychic things. I mean, that's just a whole nother ball game. But I will say, people do pick up.
You believe in ESP? You believe in ESP?
Which one is ESP again? That's like moving. That's not the telepathy part, right? Like
no. Like you can you see the future, and like you can.
Okay, so yes.
Yes, you believe that there are prophets.
I don't really deal with that aspect. Like, okay. Prophet. I'm like, I feel like that's kind of like
they see into the future,
but that's them. So for me, it's like I do, but like not like, oh my gosh, I see in 3 years.
Stop.
So like, no, it's for so for me, for me, yes, because I have experienced that for myself. So growing up as a kid, I would see things ahead of time that literally made me so bored with life. And to the point where I would know, and you can say, person could say, oh, well, that's the patterns you probably got used to. I'm like, okay, well, you can say it's a pattern, but it's kind of interesting when you see the pattern before the pattern starts to happen type of thing. So like, I would come home and immediately, it's just kind of like almost like the best way I can describe it is like, imagine that you had like a very quick thought, but in detail. So when I was younger, it would just be like, okay, boom. I immediately got whatever, that grandma's going to come home. She's going to say, we're going to do something. We're not going to do that something. My auntie's going to come home and she's going to say something about my cousin being late and he's supposed to be here, blah, blah, blah. Now you would think, oh, well, that was a pattern. No, my grandma ain't supposed to come home till 7, 8. But I picked up like 4 or something like that. Then, as a kid, you don't know schedules like that. So I would get it. And immediately I was just like, okay, let's test. Let's just sit here and see what happens. Soon as she walked through the door at the time, oh, hey, baby, how you doing? And it just went just like how I seen it. So it's like, all right, interesting. But even before then, it was just, I just had interesting experiences. Now, when I would say for now, when I meditate, I do see like futuristic stuff for myself, but it's not like how people be talking about, oh my gosh, like, I'm going to go here, I'm going to make this step. And no, it'll be, for me, when I meditate, it'll be like a visual of something that's coming, like, and it'll be a feeling that'll come with it. Like, okay, hey, you're on this path right now. Something's about to come up and it's going to blah, blah, blah. I can just sense it. And the next thing you know, it comes in a way that's like, oh, I recognize this is what I've seen, and it just works out. Now, how they do it now, like, or people say, oh my gosh, I see the future. I see that you're going to have 3 kids. Nah, I ain't like that.
Okay. Yeah, no, I don't know how I feel about all that type of stuff, because I'm a live in the moment type of person.
Yeah.
So I'm very spontaneous. So, I mean, deja vu, I honestly think that's a misfire in your brain. So, I mean, yeah.
So explain that. Explain the deja vu being a misfire in your brain, because I want to hear your thoughts on that, because I have there's no term for it, but I just made this term up. I have like damn it, I almost want to say like a triple deja vu moment where I I will experience something, but it feels like, okay, let me say this and not sound weird. I'm trying my best here, so I apologize. I'll have an experience and I went through it and it all was the same way, but the moment is, for me, it's like, didn't this happen? And didn't I already thought that this happened? And it'll just play out exactly. I'm like, didn't this happen like the exact same way so many times? But I thought that exact thought that I thought that. So like, does that make sense? I'm trying my best here.
It makes sense. It's weird. That's strange.
I appreciate
that. But yeah, no. So what I meant by being a misfire, when I learned about it in school, basically there's like, let's think of it as like a filing cabinet. There's two files, one at the top, one at the bottom. One is for old memories, one is for new memories. Okay. Sometimes the person who's putting the files into the new memory fucks up and put it into the old memory. So deja vu is pretty much your brain misfiling one of your old memories, or filing one of your new memories, and making you think it's old.
Interesting. Okay.
I can't really go into the like scientific terms because I don't remember, but that's like the skeleton. I can give you an analogy.
Gotcha. I get you. Okay. It was interesting because I know you said psychology. So it's interesting to like hear that, because telling you, Cina, I'd be
No, I feel you. The wonders of the world. If everything could be explained, it wouldn't be a journey, it wouldn't be purposeful, it wouldn't be fun. So everything shouldn't be explained. But for the knowledge that we do have, I feel like everyone should have it. I feel like we're able to know the science behind things and still think there's a little bit of magic out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if I will still go, I don't believe in it, but I will still go and get a tarot card reading. I will still have my palm read because I like that type of shit. tell me what's happening in 2 days, sis? What's happening?
I love it.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm also very cynical and very critical of stuff like that because I don't like to get played. But yeah, I can. And if you believe that you're having thoughts of things that you've already done, or you're doing something that you thought you have done, is that what it is? Multiple times?
Like I had a thought that I had a thought that I've already done this, and it'll just be so weird. Like it's like a snap moment in time where I'm turning the exact same. I see the exact same car. I know exactly what's about to happen. And it's just like, this happened already. And I know I thought like that this happened previously, and now I'm having the thought again. And I'm just like, so that's what I say.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I understand where you're coming from. I feel like that may have happened to me before. I don't know if to that degree, but I feel like it might have happened. Is it deja vu or is it a misfire in the brain? We don't know.
Hey, I like it. It's different.
Exactly.
So, I'm gonna ask you this. So I don't know if you ever had this question. So I know we were talking about the future, and then you were saying that you're in the moment. So I'm gonna ask you, do you think that it's possible that you can see everything because you are in the moment?
I plan. So I don't like to look into the future. I don't like to think about that much. I like to focus on what's happening now. So what I'm doing now is going to influence my future. I don't like to think, okay, here's the future. How am I gonna get to that bitch? Like I don't I try to plan it. So once I have my plan, then I can kind of see where the future is, where I'm headed. You know? Does that make sense?
That makes sense. So let me ask you, do you feel as though you are tapping into that future before you are planning it, in a sense? Like you're in the moment, right? Like you're focused. and let's just say you wanted to be an actor. And let's just say that, okay, you're in the moment, no distraction, you want to be an actor. So now you're thinking, you're planning. Do you feel as though now that you're in the moment, that future of that actor is coming to you to begin writing stuff down? It may not go exactly that way, but it's just like, okay, I know I want to be an actor. You're tapping into, okay, the feelings and all of that stuff that comes with it. Almost kind of like you're getting a Wi-Fi signal of that dream. Like your dream or whatever it is that you want to do is speaking to you, and you're in the moment to receive it and write stuff down to attain it. No? Or yeah.
Nah, because I don't see, okay, like a long-term goal. That's what we're saying. Okay, so if it's a long-term goal, like let's say I'm budgeting right now. Budgeting. One of my next goals is to move into a house. That's the next goal. So as of right now, I'm saving up increments of money until I reach my goal so I can get the house. I don't see how that house looks. I don't see what's in, well, I do see what's in the house. I kind of have a vision for that. So I guess maybe, possibly. But yeah.
Okay, that's what I want to know. It's not like, no, I'm looking to the future, but it's kind of like a Wi-Fi signal of it. Like you're in the moment to receive it, and you're feeling it. Like you have.
Oh yeah.
That's what
I don't think I know like some people can completely see, oh yeah, I see my house, and I'm like, okay, yeah, you can envision it, but how are you gonna get it? That's the important thing to me. I'm a planner, so it's like I need to know, how am I getting these things, and how am I gonna reach that goal, or how am I gonna reach that vision, as opposed to just focusing on the vision.
Yeah.
Is that what we're talking about? I hope that's what we're talking about.
You answered the question, so I
okay. Cool.
Yeah, you answered the question. Okay, so I'm trying to think of another perspective here, another topic on something. And you're free to ask a question too, because I know you ask interesting questions. But so you do know you can ask one.
Okay, cool. So can we go back to empathy?
Yes.
Okay. How do you feel empathy, or the lack thereof, affects the Black community? Because I remember growing up and going to school at Kennedy. Did you go to Kennedy?
I went to Jupiter.
Or you went to Watkins? Jupiter. Anyway.
I was supposed to go to Kennedy.
You were? Why'd you go to Jupiter?
My fifth grade teacher was like, hell no, you're not going to Kennedy. So
saved your life. But anyway, so went to Kennedy, and a lot of the kids, even at Gardens, a lot of the kids were like, I'm antisocial, I don't talk to people. And that was like a good thing. So it's like, how do you think that affects, or how do you think that affected our generation of Black kids?
So redo the question. So like empathy, being antisocial.
Oh yeah. So with empathy, you have to be able to put yourself in another person's shoes. When you're antisocial, you're unable to do that. Now, what kids back in the day were saying was that I'm antisocial. I'm not trying to understand you. I'm not trying to be empathetic. I don't care about that. And I'm saying, how do you think that ideal, or how do you think that perspective affected us growing up? Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
Okay.
I would say, to be honest with you, I would say that affected us depending on the person who's speaking. But I would say that it served, in a sense, not to generalize it, but in a sense to kind of speak in a neutral way for it. I feel as though it served us. Now, how it served depends on the individual. So speaking from myself and the people that I have associated with and with the Gardens, for me, it served like, okay, I understood why I would have been like, well, I was a friendly hoe, apparently, because everybody said I was super friendly. Oh. But I wasn't a ho-ho, but that's what they just say. That's the extreme they give me, like, oh, you was friendly.
I got you.
So, but I was antisocial. Actually, to be honest with you, I'm an ambivert. So I'm both. So I can be social, and I can also not be social. But I would say it served, going back to answering the question, it serves because it gives you a basis of, why were you that way? And, some people, if they get real with themselves, it could be that, number one, they may not have the empathy, they didn't care. Or it could be they were afraid to talk with people, they didn't know how to talk with people. So I feel like it served, it depends on the individual of how you look at it and how you let it, affect you. Now, there's some people who are antisocial and they still antisocial that day. And because of that, what I have noticed is that those same people will say, don't nobody want to help you, the world's cold, stuff like that, when a person's down, blah, 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 blah. So that's why it's all about me and mine. I always got to do. So it's built this kind of mentality that nobody's going to help you. Again, this is what I've seen, not generalizing, but this is what I've seen with just certain people who I know. They will say that and they would think, okay, I got to do this on my own. And they say, nah, the world's messed up. And I'm just kind of like, not really. I'm like, if you actually connected with people, your life would be a hell of a lot easier. You wouldn't have to be, oh, it's all about me and mine and on this survival, I got to do it. And that's what I've seen on the negative aspect. But on the positive aspect, I've seen some people who could say, yeah, man, I was antisocial because I didn't trust people. This happened to me, blah, 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 blah. But I learned from that. And now when those tendencies or things come up, I know, okay, that's not them, it's me. I fixed that. And now, blah, 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 I got this connection over here. They're thriving more because they're like, oh, okay, yeah. If I was still that way, I would have not been able to connect with this person who's now my business partner. And now we're doing things, so that's how I would say it affected. It served us, but it all depends on the user, how they're going to use that. What are your thoughts?
Okay. I would say I agree for the most part. I would add that being antisocial, I feel like putting that label on you, labeling yourself as antisocial is, I want to call it a cry for help.
Okay.
Like you said. So it's like, I'm antisocial. I don't talk to people. When I wish my mom had heard me say that, or I wish someone who knew what that meant had heard me say that, so they could have, said, hey, check yourself before you wreck yourself, type of thing, because you don't want to grow. Because I went into college with that mindset, and I didn't change until 2 years after college. So it's like I lost out on so many different connections, like you were saying, because of my mindset of sticking to who I was and not giving a fuck about what nobody said or anyone in particular. And it was just like, it's unnecessary. It's an unnecessary step in life. And I feel like the reason why I tagged it to Black people, because we're both Black and we can talk on that experience. But I feel like as a community, we grew up so connected, but our generation isn't as connected. Like, our neighborhoods it's not a community. It's not as together, not as cohesive as it used to be. How it, you know what I mean? Like, you can walk down the street and your neighbor from 3 doors down knows your family. Your neighbor from across the street, 4 doors down, knows your family, knows you, offers you a drink for inside, and you don't have to feel uncomfortable,
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like that has a lot to do with it too.
You're right. So, you're right with that. And, I would also add to that as well, is it also kind of comes up with a little bit with the upbringing of I know for me, it was just don't just go in anybody's house. Don't just trust, because things started to get kind of crazy, but
kind of weird. Yeah.
So I would say, yeah. And, it is, I was talking, Yasmin, right? Yasmin.
I believe so.
Okay.
Blake?
No, she was, Yasmin. I did a previous podcast with her. I released it yesterday. What is it?
Okay. No, I saw.
Okay. She was talking about the same thing, about, community and things like that. And like how you said, it's not being connected. And I know you moved, but a lot of us here, especially on Facebook, we business owners, blah, blah, blah. All of us are 10 to 15 minutes, within the same radius of each other. We're that close, but we don't see each other, talk like that. It's that's just, like you said, not being connected because, so a lot of people were, oh, I'm going to stay with this group or I'm going to stay. And
Exactly.
with that garden, do you remember everybody had a clique? That was, everybody had a clique in gardens. Certain sides for this, that. So, in like, from my neighborhood, I know my neighbors across from me, to the left of me. I don't really talk to the ones on the right. And then the ones, so I know them, but like you said, we're all not connected like, we could have been. I feel like that is a cry for help. And and honestly, people really do want it. People really do want to connect. Like, we are social creatures, but I have come to discover that a lot of people don't know how, and they weren't taught, and they're afraid, and
it's a pride thing.
Yeah, it is, but you got to be willing. You got to take the first step into working with that.
Exactly.
So,
for sure.
That's what I definitely say to that. Gosh, there was a question I was going to ask you too. It just happened.
Oh, sorry.
No. You're fine. It was a question I was going to ask you. I'm hitting my head. Like, what is the question? Because it was something that you were saying with antisocial.
I brought up Kennedy. I brought up families knocking on. Cry for help because you had said. I don't remember either.
I know. It's like gone for me. It was I know it was perspective. I was going to ask you something. It was like, it's at the tip of my head there. Like right there. It's about to come out. Like it's about to come. Anyways, it'll come to me. Whenever it does, I'll like jot it down or something like that. So I just think.
Okay.
But okay, so let's see. Judgment. How do you feel about? Oh, there we go. Thank you. Labels. That's what it was. Labels. Okay.
Okay.
Do you feel that labels are kind of like a necessary evil, or not? Or we shouldn't have them at all, and why?
There's no such thing as a necessary evil either. There's no such thing as a necessary evil.
Okay.
It's just like we are humans. We categorize things in order to feel safe and in order to feel comfortable. Things without labels confuse us. Scary. Don't know what to put on that. It's frightening. It's not known. So labels are necessary for that purpose. But when you put a label on someone who does not agree with that label, that's where I'm kind of like, that's fucked up. Like if you keep telling somebody, hey, you're this, and they're like, no, motherfucker, I'm not. Then it's like, stop trying to box that person in to that. Like, who are you to tell someone who they are? Let that person tell you who they are. Like that's the easiest route to go. I don't feel like it's a necessary evil. I do think it's necessary. But when you put your stamp on someone, it's like you're claiming them as yours, and I don't fuck with that.
Okay. So let me add this to that. So let's just say I didn't put my stamp, but they gave me their stamp. Like, okay, here's my stamp. This is what I am. And I was to describe to someone else, like, oh, what's that person like? Oh, well, this person's just like so-and-so. Is that okay? Like, I can give the label that they gave me about themselves. Is that okay? Or should I just like, they're kind of like, Tom down the street, funny like him, but, they kind of serious like Sally, but you should just go get to know them. So you figure out for yourself.
To describe someone to someone else, sure, do what you got to do. But like I'm saying, like you're telling someone to their face what they are, and they're telling you no, when I'm not. But like I don't think that's a problem. Like as long as they're not offended, and if they do get offended, just apologize. It's whatever. Okay. But there are people who are adamant about the labels they put on you.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, all right, whatever.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. That's how I want to ask you, because I know labels is always been kind of like a tricky thing, because it's like, I get it. We're not supposed to, but it's like we do it. So
but it can also have a really negative effect, because when you look at kids who are in like ESC, a lot of those kids, they just need more encouragement. Like, you tell someone, oh, you got ADHD, oh, you have this learning disorder, you have this learning disorder, they're gonna start using that as a fucking crutch.
Yeah.
That shouldn't define them. So, like, you tell someone anything about themselves, you tell someone they're stupid enough times, they're gonna start to think they're stupid. Mm-hmm. So it's like, why put that on someone? Why not give them the chance to create their own label, because we do need them. Yeah. It's necessary. Let them create their own label and just accept what they have, what they are. Jeez.
So what do you gosh, it just happened again. We just had it. I don't know what's going on here. Like, it was the label.
It's all good.
I know, right? Like, what is going on in my brain right now? It's really like, okay, I gotta retract. Labels, categorize. You said, shouldn't do that. That's it. I have no idea what's going on in my brain now. I literally, I'm like, what is, like, this is a good question. I was just like, what's going on here?
It'd be like that.
It really do, because it's like I can feel the thought. It's like in the middle of my head, but it's like the execution of it coming out is just.
You feel where it was. It's just gone.
It's like, come on, come out, come out. Thank you. Oh my God, came out, because I have to remember my mind works in a lot of different ways. So certain actions or words, okay, and then my intuition kicks in too. All right, so I'm just gonna say, because my intuition's like, bro, just say. All right, so your thoughts on this whole abortion stuff that's like going on? I'm sure that everyone's aware of like what they're saying, like making these laws. And what are your thoughts on like that whole energy of it? Because there's so much on it. What are your thoughts on it?
I just really wish people would mind their business, because you don't know anyone's experiences. Like, you may be pro-life, but you can be pro-life for yourself. You can tell yourself, I'm never having an abortion. I don't care what happens. But why do you get the option to tell someone else what to do with their body? Mm-hmm. And the thing that pisses me off the most is that these people who are making these decisions and creating these laws, most of them anyways, are older white men. So it's just like, who are you to tell me that I can't do something with my body? If I don't think I'm ready for a baby, if I don't think I would love this baby correctly, if I don't think the adoption process is something that is worthwhile or like an option, then why am I being forced? Because that's what's pretty much happening. We're forcing women to have kids when they don't want them, and that's an 18-year commitment.
And then some.
Like, you feel me? Like, I literally, like, if I don't want this baby, I have to raise it. I have to love it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it's like and if I don't love this baby, you get your Casey Anthony's, but she didn't do it right. She was acquitted. You get people. I mean, there are people who want to keep their kids, but they can't fucking afford them. You get people leaving their kids in cars so they can go and do a fucking job interview and getting arrested, and now their kids are in the system. So it's just like, sometimes, like, just let people live their fucking lives. Mind your business.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
Planned Parenthood has saved more lives than anything.
Yeah.
Than anyone. So I just don't understand why people want to dip and dab into women's rights. I don't understand. We should have the right to say, I want to do this, that, and the third with my body. Mm-hmm. Damn what you think. Yeah. To hell with what you think.
Okay. Thank you.
A lot of people no, you're fine. A lot of people throw the Bible into it, and I'm just like, a lot of people don't believe in the Bible. So there's that. You can't force your beliefs on people. So it's like, nothing anyone says to me ever makes sense when they're saying, I understand if you're pro-life. I have a lot of friends who are pro-life, and I respect their decisions. But I always tell them, like, you can be pro-life for yourself.
Yeah.
Don't try to force me to be like you. Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it. How do you feel about it, Thad? I always like male perspectives on abortion because you guys are so opinionated.
I mean, well, I agree with you. Like, it's not their business. you can't force someone to do it. I mean, yeah, I could go with the typical, well, you shouldn't have done the act, but hell, we all
Fuck
busting
up
nuts.
sometimes.
Okay, we busting nuts out here sometimes. So I'm gonna say, and things happen. She might do that razzle dazzle cowgirl, turn around, drop it down on you, then boom, you got come on the way. But you know what I mean? So it's like, mind your business. And my thoughts on it is just that, like, people should just mind their business, and you can't tell someone to do that. It's exactly what you said. Like, you're forcing this person who may not even be like correct. And I seen a post where someone said, okay, well, if y'all going to force us to have these kids, that means, are y'all going to pay for them? Are you going to pay for their education? Are you going to pay for so they're like, if you're not going to do that, the commitments that come with the child. And that's my thing with it. And I kind of feel, I'm going to say this too, I feel like a lot of issues root from a lot of people's like religious beliefs with certain things, like how you mentioned the Bible and stuff like that. And I agree again with you, where it's like, hey, don't push that on everybody, because not everybody is, on that wave. And again, it's mind your business. So as long as you doing it, you fine, but you telling Brittany over there in Kansas that she gonna have this child, but it's just like, did you know how Brittany had that child? Did you know Brittany was raped by her fucking uncle? Who, you know what I mean? It's just like, y'all don't know the details, and you saying she needs to keep. It's like, no, bro.
And I'm not saying I hate that argument, but I hate that argument simply because it doesn't matter how the baby was conceived, whether it was a drunk night out, whether the condom had a hole in it, whether it was incest, whatever the fuck, it's up to the mother. It does not matter. I absolutely hate when people bring that shit up. Oh, well, she was raped, so that doesn't mean she gets to have an abortion just because she was raped. If she might want to keep the baby. I don't fucking know. But it doesn't matter. If someone wants to get rid of something that is happening to their fucking body, we don't force people to fucking keep tumors in their fucking bodies when they smoke cigarettes all their lives. Why are we, like, you knew the consequences. You knew what was gonna happen. Like, what? No, we're not doing that. So why is it okay to have a whole person inside of me because I decided to have sex one time? Jesus Christ. It's just so much.
Nah, you had to put that thought. You had to put that thought in my mind, like, oh wow. Now I'm gonna think of that. Like, that's gonna be my argument. Like, nobody forced you to like keep that tumor in your body. So why like
exactly. You in full remission, but I can't have an abortion? That's terrible. It's terrible, but like,
it's yeah, that's terrible. It's hilarious. It's like,
like, and then my main thing though, instead of forcing women to, deal with their pregnancy, how about we teach women how to prevent pregnancy? Sorry, boyfriend just called me. Yeah, no, for like men and women, like we need like detailed sexual education, like. I had conversations with people who think if you have sex with the girl on top, gravity will stop the cum from going inside of her and she won't get pregnant. Bad. Like, I've had very interesting conversations with people about sex. It's like, it frightens me. And I feel like a lot of that could have been prevented. A lot of pregnancies can be prevented if we just educate people.
Yeah.
You don't teach someone a lesson by making them have a baby, because chances are, if they're irresponsible, they're going to be irresponsible raising that child.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah.
There was this podcast. It's so funny. And I've been talking about it on Facebook. I love it. But it's this podcast called The Whole Phase. And, already you can imagine what it's about. But one particular episode, they were talking about the like STDs and things like that, and someone did talk about different things. It's like, what you need to have in your whole bag, different things like that. And the conversations were legit. Like, women were like, oh, I didn't know certain things, like if you did that, and it was the women, but it was also the people they brung in who are they work in the facility to prevent STDs, blah, blah, blah. And they were saying that, you know, if people were educated on this, that, and the other, a lot of these things could be prevented. And you know, some people was like, she's like, why is it that someone hasn't made a vaccine that will like just cure everything? And it's like, well, no, because there's certain, you know, diseases that have a certain like code, and you need a particular, you know, they were breaking it down, and it was like hearing the different responses from people that were not educated, and taking that time to get educated, because, you know, that one day that we had in school about, you know, sex ed ain't gonna really do it for us. So you gotta be aware out there and gotta be educated. Education is important. So
what kills me, well, let me ask you this. What age do you think children should start learning about sex?
I would like to, okay, because I know I'm an outlandish person. So
no. I'm outlandish.
Okay, so
so go ahead.
I would say I'm going to say right at the age, and each child is different, but I think every child maybe asks this question, like right at the age where they ask about where babies come from, that's right there is when you start educating them. And for me, because I say that because my mom, you know, to this day, I wish she would have told me, you know, the birds and the bees story, because I wanted to hear that. That was a popular story, but I never got that story. The real deal.
Yeah, I got the real deal too.
You know, but she would tell me, you know, when, you know, you males, when y'all put your penis in the vagina.
Oh my gosh.
You know, they have a good time. The male ejaculates and the sperm goes in there, you know, blah, blah, blah. And so it was just like, oh my gosh, okay. So, but my mom told me bluntly, but it was an education where it was just like, she said, wrap it up, blah, 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 blah. The condom. If you don't got a condom, she educated me. Just like, I know you ain't doing it now because you only shooting out dog water now, but still, you know,
my God.
when you do it, this is what you do. And so she educated me early in the game instead of shying me away from it, because it was okay, now I know. So when I went to sex ed, it was more detailed. So I would say, honestly, right at the age when they start asking questions, that's when you should do it, and have that space of openness, and not saying, oh, no, don't do it. Because now when you say no, I feel like the child's like, okay, well, now I really want to know. And then next thing you know, 13-year-old Thomas over here got a baby. You know what I mean? She had her period. My mom would tell me, you know, different things about, like, you know, women, and, you know, it wasn't fully detailed, but you know, women, they have a period, blah, blah, blah. When you have a wife, you have a daughter. So I was educated at a very early age. So when I did have the thoughts of, okay, you know, I want to beat some cheeks, I know the consequences that are going to come if I don't, you know, take the proper measures. So it prevented, you know, kids right now.
For sure.
Early as possible when they start asking questions. What do you think?
So you're gonna think I'm crazy for this, but I think sex talk should be talked about. Let me start with this. Sex is everywhere. Let me just say this first, because I know your viewers are gonna kill me. But sex is literally everywhere. You cannot look anywhere and not see sex. It's everywhere. It's in our music. It's in books. It's on cartoons. They had there was like this whole thing where on YouTube, some dude for popular children's shows on YouTube, he was inputting like crazy imagery, sexual images on the kids' TV show. So it's like, you have to protect your kids up against that, and you can't tell them not to watch TV, not to watch YouTube, not to do this, not to do that, because it's like, then your kid's gonna be a fucking shut-in. Yeah. Don't you know, and they're gonna do it anyway. So why not get on top of that as soon as possible? So I think teaching good touch, bad touch as soon as possible is important, because a lot of kids don't know what that is. If you have a 4-year-old child who's being molested and she doesn't know that someone touching you on your little pocketbook is wrong, that's bad touch, who are you going to tell? How are you going to know to tell? You know, that's the main, like that for sure. I want to start with as early as possible. If someone touches you here, you let me know so I can come beat their ass.
Right.
That's where I am. And then when she gets a little older, I'll keep it like, when he gets a little older, I'll keep it, age appropriate. But as you age, I'm gonna let you know, just like my mom let me know. My mom was like your mom, like to the point, Mom, because I thought I was cute. Mama, where babies come from? Like I thought I was cute coming on. I saw somebody ask on TV, and I was like, Mom, where babies come from? She said, you came from my vagina. With the head tilt.
Yeah,
and I was like, what? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, oh, okay. And kept moving. My mom put us in a program called Cypher. I can't remember, when we were 13 and 14, me and my brother. Over the summer, she put us in a program called Cypher, where we learned about all the STIs and STDs. I learned that trichomoniasis is the most common, and half of y'all walking around here don't even know you got it. Okay. So, trichomoniasis, exactly. It's not like fish, basically. And I learned all of this because my mom put us in this program, because she knew, like, she didn't know everything, so she put us in a space where we could learn it. Yeah, like, I'm gonna be that parent. You're gonna know, so you make decisions that are in your best interest, because I'm not going to be there every time you forget to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Every time you know what I mean? So I want my child to know, if you do have a time where you're drunk and you don't know if you use a condom or not, go get a plan B. Yeah. Like, I need you to know that. There are people who don't know that. So I'm not hiding anything from nobody.
Yeah.
Because I honestly think hiding information from someone leaves them ignorant and leaves them open for they're vulnerable.
Yeah.
Why would you want your child to be vulnerable?
Exactly.
And stop preaching abstinence. It's not realistic. I'm sorry. It's not. It's fucking not.
It's everywhere, goddamn it. It's everywhere. Hell.
Like, come on.
You're right. And I agree with you. Like, I didn't think of like that early, but I would totally do it. Like you like, now with you, because you just shifted my perspective. Like, I wasn't really taught the bad touch, good touch.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, because at the time growing up, mm-hmm. Now I'm not like how it is today, but at the time it kind of wasn't like a thing where the male.
It wasn't that bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we don't know. We don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. So, I would say now, like, you just shifted my perspective. Like, okay, hey, yeah, like, educate them at an early age, and I'm with it. Hell, I want my child to be educated, because, like you said, because I know me, mm-hmm. I'm gonna be blunt too, like how you said. Mm-hmm. My son, I can't be there with you when you want to slide through some things. I can't be there. Wrap it up, and I'm gonna tell him, like, because you can't just don't be having no kids with just any and everybody, because now
we're related.
Exactly.
We're related.
Exactly. And I'm not with it. That means if your ass can't do it, then I gotta take care of the grandchild. I don't even like her. No. Now I have to claim her as a family member. No, you's not finna fuck up my legacy. So
hello, not my legacy.
Not gonna fuck up my legacy. So, and I know some people are like, that's controlling. Nah, goddamn it, that's education.
No, it's really not.
It's like, nah. Because a lot of people just having kids, and it was like, man, I don't even like her, man. She evil. I'm like,
why you?
Now you created something with this, so
you locked in.
You're locked in. That's done. You done. And now all of that stuff that you ain't like, what about her? Half of that is in your seed. So
damn.
It's like, there you go, bro. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why, yeah. And I feel like that is something that definitely needs to, there's lots of education like with that, and then
yeah.
They'll know. Hopefully I have a kid at this point.
What you mean? You could always adopt. You did. See, that's exactly why.
No, hear me out.
That's exactly why I feel the way I feel about abortion. Nobody wants to adopt. It's so fucked up.
No, hear me out.
I need you to rewatch this and look at your face.
I know my face.
That was so messed up.
No, I know my face. There's, put it like this. There is someone I care for deeply, and my chances of having children with her are at an all-time high. And she said, she wanted to adopt. And I was just like,
yeah.
Why?
I want to adopt too.
Right? Me, I was telling her, I was like, I'm not with it,
Well, I'm
but
gonna do both. But go ahead.
that's what she said. She wants kids. She wants like me and her, but she also wanted to adopt. She said for the same reason that she just like, I don't want people. She's like, people don't adopt. Those kids don't feel loved at home. I was like, I hear you. I do, but I personally don't want it. But she told me her reason, and she was very adamant on it. And because I care about her,
you're willing to consider it.
I'm willing, because it's like, okay, so this is me trying to tell myself to be positive here and look at the different perspectives on.
It's called compromising. It's called compromising. You're a good dude.
It's a compromise. I'm like, okay, but my reasons of why I don't want to adopt for me, and it's for my strong reasons is I don't want to have my kids and then adopt, because that child's going to know. The adopted child is they're going to feel the difference. Like that's like, and I'm not going to say like, oh, I'm going to be like, oh, nah, you my son. It's not like that. But one of the things that even with my mom, when she was growing up, saying the difference of so my auntie and my uncle, they have the same father, but my mother had a different father. So she was saying her upbringing, it was very different. And she was saying, because of that, I would never have different children from different fathers because of what she experienced with it. So that was her experience. I'm not taking that. But for me, I know there are things about my family that I need to teach my kids. So having an adopted child for me is just like, yes.
Are you saying that child can't learn the things that you would teach your other kids?
Some things, but not all of them. And that's why I say certain things about my family. Like I always tell them.
But they would be your family because you've adopted them.
Yeah, they would be my family, but I can't teach them certain things about like what they could do, with.
Yes, you can.
No, like certain things, yes. I'm talking about specific things about my family. So like, okay, let me give you an example. So like I was able to pick up things, see things, sense things, blah, 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 blah. That's kind of like a pass down in the family. If the adopted child has that, maybe. But like my kids, I need to teach you guys like, okay.
Well, what if one of your kids doesn't have that ability? Because it skips.
Not in my.
Yeah. So are you going to treat them like an adopted kid? Like, what's that?
No, it doesn't. What this it doesn't.
I just popped a hole in your whole theory.
No, it doesn't.
I just popped it.
It doesn't skip in my family. It's on both sides. So that's why I was just like, but hey, if it did, it's cool. That works out. But I also, is just, I don't know his, in a sense, I don't know, like, okay, I don't know what's in your DNA type of thing. So I don't know, what I get from that. I know my family, I know what's in there, I know the things to look out for, to expect, alter, but I don't really know. So it's kind of like an unknown for me. So I personally.
Sad.
Huh?
So sad.
It's sad. For me personally, I'm not as open with it as I would be other things. But for her, I said, you know what? Looking at what you're saying and from your perspective, I could see how very closed off I am to it. So this could be, because of that unknown factor, it could actually be a good thing. And they could be able to teach the kids something that I won't be able to teach, or you be able to teach. And they have different upbringings. So that's when I was telling her, I was like, okay, so I am open to it because you would like that. And at the same time, like you said, certain things they may not, be able to get that's in the family, and whatever, but they may get it. They may learn from this child. He may bring a whole different atmosphere approach that could change, our things with it. So I was like, in that regard, that made me turn the light on myself to see, wow, you really are closed off to that. Your reasons are kind of like, but it's just like,
that they're your reasons.
They're my reasons, but
I hear you.
I'm a bit I'm a bit open for her. But when I go out and do it, probably not. Just for myself, probably
No.
not.
I would totally adopt. And I told, because my man's, he wants a lot of kids, and I do not want to push out a lot of kids because I'm fragile, okay? And pregnancy looks horrifying. Remember I was telling you how detailed my mom was? I watched a lot of live births. Yeah. I'm good. Yeah. So so I told, he was like, yeah, I want like 5 kids. I was like, can we have 2 and adopt 3? And he was like, can we have 3 and adopt 2? And I was like, is that a compromise? And he's like, sure. But my only stipulation is I don't want babies. I want the ones that know I'm not their parent, so that we can have a dialogue and I can get to know you and all that good stuff. Like, I don't want to shape who you are. I want to know who you are. Yeah. And I want to build off of that. That's what I want to do when I adopt.
Okay. So, okay. And yeah. I like that. I like, hearing these different things on it. And it's like you said, you want to get to know them. And it's very funny because you bring up a point where when I was talking with, she was just like, what was she? She was, I think she said the same thing like you, like at an age where, like what you said, she could have dialogue. Because I was telling her, I was like, it works out because she loves babies up until they're like, they start getting slick or whatever.
I guess.
I was like, I'm not.
I like when they get slick.
See, but I like it when they're at that adult, like not adult, but they're at that version of, okay, we can talk now. You get what I'm saying. Before, I don't want nothing to do with them. So she was like, I was like, yeah, you handle that part. When they get ready, I can have a conversation. I can take over, because she's like, yeah, I can't stand.
Oh my God. That's good though. You balance each other out. That's good.
Yeah, she was like, I love kids. Kids are this. And I'm like, I love all kids when they with their mama and daddy. That's just except my niece. I love her. I that's my baby girl. But other kids, I'm like, oh, they're so sweet. Oh, you want to? No. You keep them. You keep them. But now when they're 13, 15, oh, what's up? Damn, bro, you grew. What you think about? Wait, what where your mind?
Yeah, where you at? Exactly.
Then we can have a conversation. That's when I can take over.
Yeah.
Nah. So that's that. Cool. But I just realized this is almost like a 2-hour podcast. So.
Oh, that's why he's been calling me.
Yeah.
Oh snap! He asked me if I'm all right. He probably think I'm dying. Lord, yeah. Good talk.
Wrap it up. Yeah. So, any last things you want to say? Any last questions, whatnot? Because I want you to get in trouble with your mans and whatnot. So.
Nah, it'll be all right. I'm doing this. But no, it was really fun. Thanks for inviting me on your podcast. Love the different topics we talked about. Yes. Follow me on Instagram.
I will definitely put your information on it because you messaged it to me. So I will have that. And I'm very curious to see if any questions will come up with our different topics on things. It should be very interesting. I need to have like a poll or something. I'll create something. But
yeah. So
with that being said, I do appreciate you for taking the time to converse. We definitely got to hang out whenever you get down here.
For sure.
We got to argue with that other boy and
go
from there. So, with that, I greatly appreciate you. So thank you, Cina. You are awesome. You are amazing.
No problem. You're awesome. You're amazing.
Talk
to you soon.
All right. Talk to you soon.
All right, bye.
Guys, I wanted to say thank you for checking out today's podcast. Cina was awesome. I really enjoyed her. I wanted to add this extra snippet because Cina was super cool. We've had so many different topics just in this episode. So please feel free to either leave a comment under the snippets of this podcast when it is released and let me and her know some of your feedback or some of your answers to the different topics that we discussed on this podcast. I will put her Instagram link online or on the thing here on the bottom. Either way, you'll see the details for her Instagram link. I'll make sure to tag her in there, so please feel free. I know we talked about a lot of different subjects, and I know some of them were pretty outlandish. So if you have an opinion, please do share. Me and her would love to talk about them. With that being said, you guys have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will be speaking with you all Friday. Later.